Good evening, everyone. My name is Veronica. I've made a few videos on YouTube and a few shorts, and in this video I decided that I'd introduce myself a little bit. I teach Russian here in California. I'm originally Russian, but I spent most of my life in Germany, and I now have been living in the States for about 7 years in different states, and for the past over 5 years in California. I'd like to think of myself as a rational person, maybe sometimes too rational, maybe, but I like to detach from emotion, to be objective, and I like to touch on many topics, but I like fashion, and lately I've been a little conflicted about fashion because on one hand I kind of lost interest in shopping so much. On the other hand, I still care about it. I still care about aesthetics, and I don't think it will ever go away. So today I came on here to talk about this tariff situation and this flood of videos, at least in my informational bubble, about how China is exposing luxury brands, how they cheaply manufacture all those goods and have such a high price markup, and we're paying extortionate amounts for their goods that are no better than the fakes that they sell or cheaper products that they sell. Well, whoever's watching this, I'd like to remind you that this is media, and in media you are constantly influenced by things and people. People don't say things for no reason. I mean, some private channels on YouTube maybe do, but if you get things through news outlets, it's usually to convey some sort of opinion, and it's no different here. So TikTok is Chinese. TikTok has been banned from the US at least once, and TikTok is known to be, or assumed to be, not very secure in terms of your data. I'm not going to go into that. So naturally, TikTok will be used to also push some ideas. So the idea that luxury brands have a high markup is not new, and I think most people who buy luxury are aware of that. So are we shocked? No, not really shocked. I mean, I myself have a few luxury items. I'm far from being able to afford anything I'd like or ever wanted, but now and then I treat myself. Sometimes it's within my budget. Sometimes I overspend. It happens. Lately I've been more reasonable, but here is where I get to the actual topic. Well, like I said, the topic is the tariff war, and basically what's the background of those claims and this so-called exposure, which I think is nothing new really. It just satisfies people. And why does it satisfy people? Well, it's because of the psychology behind people buying luxury brands. And here I pulled up an older Forbes article from 2017. It's by Peter Ubel or Obel. I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name, but this article basically says what I've been thinking in my mind and what I kind of knew, and many of us know. I'm gonna go ahead and quote some of it. I like to think that despite being wealthier than most Americans, I remain immune to materialistic desires. I drive a 17-year-old Honda Accord and wouldn't know designer clothes if you wrapped me in them head to toe. But it turns out that I'm wrong. I'm not above materialism despite my wealth and social status. I'm immune because of it. Well, what does it mean because of it? Well, it means that since he's rich, or wealthy, maybe not the wealthiest ever, but like he said, wealthier than most Americans. He doesn't feel the need to display wealth because he's confident in his wealth. Since I don't need to signal my social value, I can save my money for other purposes. And there you go. In places with great income inequality, those people with lower incomes live under great social stress. Their low position in the social hierarchy is more obvious and more consequential. In response, some poor people purchase the kinds of goods that create the impression that they have social resources to spare, even when they are cash-strapped. And people living in low-income neighborhoods, the ones who are relatively well off compared to their neighbors, are nevertheless worried that they'll be misperceived as resource poor. So they purchase expensive and conspicuous goods to make sure the resources are visible to outsiders. Well, there you go. And that's the psychology. So basically, luxury goods are bought by people to display status, to display wealth. And those things are expensive, and that's why they buy them. So you see how it's kind of backwards? They buy those things because they're expensive, not even because they're so nice. So, in capitalism, the the entrepreneur caters to the demand. So if there's demand, then supply will be created by the entrepreneur. So if luxury companies put out a lot of goods, it's because there's demand for it. Correct me if I'm wrong. Comment down below if you think that this is wrong. Sure, they also do their part. They advertise. I think, what was it, Louis Vuitton was the first luxury company that was advertising on TV or something like that. I will have to fact check that. But sure, and I myself did shorts about is it even ethical because they use, say, Zendaya or who was it, Dua Lipa on their ads, where I was like, okay, you are addressing people or lots of people who may not be able to afford this really, but they want to display this wealth, and then they're going to make unreasonable purchases or not unreasonable purchases, but spend money unreasonably. But yeah, then again, I guess it's the individual's responsibility, while, there may be some things that can be done about it to protect people. But what I'm saying is, it takes two to tango, two hands to clap, whatever, whatever you call it. And I think we should keep this in perspective, that it's not just one-sided. And to wrap this up, I think that people are simply happy to hear it because it's like a release. If someone says oh, those luxury companies are bad, because while it's the people who run to the stores and spend those ridiculous amounts, it was their decision. Nobody forced them to do this. I mean, social media maybe influenced them to do this, but that may be a different topic. But it's people who went and bought the stuff, and they're also the ones who created the demand because they want the things, right? So that is actually what might also lead to this mass production that everyone is criticizing now. Like I said, it works with demand. Right? The demand is there, so that's why the supply is being matched. So, and if there have been rumors in the past or reports in the past that whatever oversupply there is, it was destroyed and burned as to not have sales. I would have to do some more research on that, but what I'm saying is people there's psychology behind it. People want to buy those things and they want to spend this money, like, because if those things didn't cost this money, they wouldn't be considered special or luxurious or something that people can flash, as you call it, right? So also, let's not forget that brand name items, designer items, whether you like it or not, are often of superior quality. It is not the same product as you will find in an H&M, Walmart, Target, even the fusion brands, like say Chloe has C by Chloe, or Versace has Versace jeans. Even their diffusion brands have like lower quality than the actual brand. And it's true, and as someone who's purchased luxurious things before, I can definitely attest to that it's true. So while we don't need to talk about the markups, they're definitely there, even though it's not like, it's not as simple as like, oh, well, the markup is 800%, so that means they spend $5 on it, and then all the rest goes directly in their pocket. No, I mean, luxury companies, they have to run, they have to pay people, they have to rent stores in the best locations of the world. The stores have to be nice. The employees at the stores wear designer shoes and designer clothes. They have fashion shows where they advertise their stuff. They have marketing going on, so they have lots of expenses. That's why many companies need a few years before they even become profitable. So let's not just dismiss that. But this is where I kind of want to wrap things up. This is my take on the situation, where you kind of have to weigh both sides and find a middle ground. Luxury will remain luxury. It will always be overpriced because it's ultimately made for people who can afford it. That's why it's luxury. If luxury were for everyone, then it wouldn't be luxury. So if one doesn't like their prices, one just doesn't need to shop there. But if one uses luxury for status, they don't need to complain that the prices are high. If it makes sense? I hope it does. Well, let me know what you think.